Appreciate you, Benny, and we look forward to that taking place. We get started with our speakers today on the high school level. He guided Selma to state championships in 1994, 1995, and 2000. He guided Riverside to the Division III state semifinals in 2014 and the state championship game a year ago. He has Riverside at 7-1 following 7 consecutive victories. The Rebels will visit Sophie B. Wright this Thursday with a chance to clinch the District 9 2A championship. Please give a warm Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation Quarterback Club welcome to Coach Bill Stubbs of Riverside Academy. Bill.
I want to express my appreciation to Kenny for inviting me back here again. It's always a great opportunity for us to share a little bit of our football season and our team outside of our local area. I think that we're doing well this year. After last year's real disappointing loss to Notre Dame in the championship game, it's pretty neat to watch our kids come back the following week. You would think that they'd want some time off and let's get cranked back up in January. Well, heck, they came back the following week on a mission. Started in December of last year to come back and have a chance at the prize again. And through our off season, our summer season, and our preseason, and actually throughout the course of our season, this is probably, with their dedication to our strength and athletic performance program, probably some of the best numbers I think in terms of that I've ever been associated with. And so these guys, although as disappointed as they were in last year's game, the championship game, really put them on a mission. So we're real excited about what's going on this year. We started out in a brutal pre-district schedule. We opened up with John Aaron at our place. Lost to those guys by 3, but then we came back with Parkview Baptist, had to go to their place in Hanville, and then had to go to Plaquemines, down the river in Plaquemines. And we won those 3 games, so that was pretty exciting for us. We're a small school, not a lot of numbers, but I think being able to play that type of schedule certainly has been extremely helpful for us. Going into district play. Of course, we had a week off, and then wound up having in the 5th week, wound up having to go against a really good, very, very well coached Newman team. I think Nelson Stewart, one of the class guys in the New Orleans area in terms of football coaches and what he tries to do with his young men. So you always got to be prepared with those guys, and as we went out, and some folks always ask me about that lull, that off week, because we did have an off week, and it's 2 years in a row we've done this, and they asked me, we wound up in that particular game, we found ourselves 21 points down in the first half. Now, if you understand high school football, there's only 12 minutes. They're 12-minute quarters, and that stuff goes by pretty quick. So, you come out at halftime and you're looking at the scoreboard saying 21 down, then you have no margin for error in high school football. It goes by relatively quick. So you have to make sure that all the opportunities that you have, that everything, because there's a big sense of urgency. So our kids stayed calm. We came back out in that particular game, and we had some really crucial stops on defense, a couple of turnovers, and we were able to get our offense going and won that thing by 7 points. So that was really exciting. We were able to come back the following week against a very, very talented West St. John team after a week of trying to clean up some mistakes. A real talented West St. John team, and I think we won that ball game. I think it was 49-15. So we felt really good about that. And we had about 15 minutes of excitement there, because right behind those guys, of course, is St. Charles Catholic, another extremely well-coached football team. Frank Monica does a phenomenal job over there, and what Frank does is he don't leave any stone unturned. He works their offense and their defense, and especially their special teams. So you got to be really on your toes because you don't know what to expect with those guys. Well, we were fortunate enough to host them there. And by the way, it's probably, that game is probably one of the most, I would say, one of the most intense rivalries, believe it or not, in the state of Louisiana. And it really doesn't come, I don't think it comes internally from the kids. It comes from the community. Well, they're brutal during that week. It's it gets pretty rough. But so coupling all those things together, I thought our kids played extremely well in the first half, and so we were able to walk away from that one with another victory. And then, gosh, and then right from the fire into the fire, the frying pan into the fire, or flip it around. I don't care whichever way you want it. But we got Country Day, and Country Day's extremely talented football team. They're 8-0, and some people say, well, their schedule doesn't dictate, but not really that concerned. I don't care who you're playing, where you're playing. When you're 8-0, you're pretty good. I don't care at what level you are, and very, very, very talented football team. I think that Coach McGuire over there has turned loose some of those really good basketball players, and they're playing at a very, very, very high level. I think Coach Chango does a very, very good job. He's got a great offensive scheme, and so we get a call on Sunday. The game was scheduled to play it for the, when we set the schedule up last year, it was scheduled to play at Mossburn Lido. And so on Sunday we get a phone call saying that they want to play the game at their place at 7 p.m. And I'm going, well, that's going to be a little bit tough because they don't have lights. But if you guys want to do it that way, that's fine. But no, they had somebody that was able to put up some money and bring in some lights, and really. I was surprised because they were extremely accommodating and very hospitable. It was a good atmosphere to play football in, and yeah, I think it was 13-7 at the half. We were up and we were in a battle, but we were able to pull away from those guys and win that football game last Friday night. Of course, we close out with, like Kenny said, we close out with Sophie B. Wright this Friday night. Now, so. We're going to close out, and it looks like we're going to be the #1 seed again this year, which kind of puts us in a driver's seat in terms of, home field advantage. If there's any such thing as home field advantage, we've lost only football game at home this year. So, but we look forward to that. I think that trying to explain to folks how this thing works. I think we've got it pretty well down to who we think we're going to wind up playing. I think that as of right now, it looks like it'll probably be North Lake Christian in the first round. If we get through that round, then we go on the second round. It could be, I think it's the winner of Country Day. It could be a rematch of Country Day and or Haynes Academy. Those two guys are going to probably have to play. And then I think that getting to the semifinals, we suspect, and of course it's playoffs, so you really don't know when, but we put together several different scenarios. We think we like the idea that it's going to be Catholic New Iberia. The winner of Catholic New Iberia, probably Washita Christian. And then on the flip side, on the other side, you have what we think is the odds-on favorite. The way that they're playing right now is an extremely well-coached team by Louis Cook, Notre Dame. So it could wind up being a rematch if everything falls into place. We play well. It could wind up being a rematch against those guys, which I think it was a 10-point game, 11-point game, something like that last year. They're very, very good, and again, going to be really good this year. I tell you what I'd like to do is I'd just kind of like to close off, and if anybody has any questions, I'd like to kind of close off by giving you a little bit of how we feel at Riverside. I think it's a very, very, very unique place. Certainly, this is my 5th year coaching at Riverside. I've been extremely fortunate to be around just a bunch of great people. I think that what we tried to do when we got there at Riverside, we love to win football games at Riverside. I think that where we excel is we use the game of football to teach life lessons. And I think that's certainly important. And of course, in this day and time, with so many distractions with high school students, that we're able to do, and again, use the game of football to teach those life lessons. 5 years ago, when we came in, we established a code of ethics that I think all of our coaches and players, we try to live by the code of ethic, and it's very simple, because people ask me all the time, well, how do you continue to have success? And we don't make things complex. We try to keep things always at a base level. So when we came in, we decided to put something together that was simple, to the point, and all the kids really understand it, and we keep pushing this code of ethic, and we call it the 3 pillars of success. The first pillar is called work ethic, and we're real simple in our definitions, and we describe the work ethic as doing what's necessary to achieve superior results. The second pillar is called toughness, and our meaning of toughness is doing what is necessary no matter how you feel. The third pillar is leadership. Again, the definition of leadership is doing what is necessary to positively influence another towards success. We've kind of built on this. We kind of hung our hats on this. Like I said, it's simple. Our kids have that posted in their lockers. They have to repeat it whenever we. Of course, I haven't done it in a while. I guess might be time to pull it back out again. But we have them repeated. They have to understand it and know how important it is as the base and the foundation of our program. The other thing is, I've been very, very blessed. I've in all my life of coaching, especially this go around, I took a 10-year vacation of sorts from coaching after I left Salmon in 2002. But I've been very, very blessed to be surrounded by some phenomenal coaches. And I'm going to tell you, this group that I have, the coaches that we have this year at Riverside Academy are just really off the charts, the way that the X's and O's that they understand and they teach, but their delivery method on a regular basis, and certainly their contact with the kids, not just on the field, but off the field, and in their personal life and things like that. So I think that's really important. And of course, my philosophy is very, very simple. I've pretty much always been a guy that you just do what you do best and then hire the rest. And so I'm very, very blessed to be at a school like Riverside Academy with so many really good folks. Now, with that, I'll close with that. Does anybody have any questions for me while I'm up here? Any questions? Yes.
Did you lose a lot of seniors last year, and will you lose a lot?
No, this year this year's our biggest senior class. Last year I think we were at 12 or 13 kids that we lost last year. All good, most of the guys that are seniors mostly play for us. This year is probably the largest class that I've had since I've been there, with I think we're over 20, 21, 22 seniors. So that's going to be interesting. But we got a lot of really good football players behind them.
Do you have many of your assistant coaches that you had at Salmon?
No, actually, when I got there, the administration said, hire who you want, and there was one guy that I absolutely needed to get, and of course I talked to them about that prior to when we were negotiating. And it was Chris Lashney, who I think is one of the premier high school football coaches in the state of Louisiana. I knew I had to get him, and watched him as a head coach. Matter of fact, he coached my youngest son when he was head coach at Pope John Paul, and then he went on over to Brother Martin and did some phenomenal things with them defensively. And I knew that was a guy that I had to have. So I was able to bring him. I was able to bring one other guy, Mike Sutton. So I know all of you guys are probably familiar with Mike. You probably remember the days you were officiating some of those games. Mike was a heck of a football player for us. So he came in and coached with us for a couple of years. He's back in Indianapolis now. But and then I really tried to stay local with the local guys, the guys that were on staff, really committed young football coaches, full of a lot of energy. So it was a blessing. Those guys are very, very loyal to the school, and that's what you look for. But again, like I said, I sit back. I work this thing now where, honest to goodness, I can tell you, for a kickoff, I can go sit sit up in stands and eat popcorn. It's running that smooth with such a great football staff, so I've been very, very blessed. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Coach, the split with the LHSAA between the public and the private schools, you've had success on both sides. Is there any advice, or have you been trying to talk to the people on the public side to say?
You know, I haven't, no. The folks that I talk to are people that are close to me. I've talked with, some sports writers and things like that, and I think we all feel the same way. That, it's just sad. When I tell you sad, when politics enter into the arena of high school athletics. And on both sides, all the way across the board. I don't think it's fair. I don't think the kids benefit absolutely. There's no benefit whatsoever with kids. I think adults get together in back rooms. I really believe this. They get together in back rooms and they work for their own agenda. And it's time for it to stop. We're dealing with high school kids, things that are going to affect high school kids for the rest of their lives. This is not a good system. It's a horrible system. It's not working. I don't know what the end product's going to be, but doggone it, these folks need to come together and stop this nonsense that they're doing up in Baton Rouge. And when I say Baton Rouge, which is the hub, but they're all people select them private. I'm not going to pick sides. I'm not going to talk about sides right now, but I think that politics has entered into it, and it's just a crying shame that the kids have to suffer for this.
Well, you've been successful on both sides. I think your voice will be heard up there.
Well, you would think that, but nobody's, they're not interested. They're not interested in talking to, a football coach. What has he done? I think there's so many different ways that this thing could be fixed. Where again, if you put the kids out there in front and see what's best for the kids, but they don't want to do it because it's my school. And I'm going to separate my school, and I'm going to just do what's best for my school, and this one's going to go over here and do what's best for his school, and this one, and so forth and so on, to wherever. These folks aren't, they're not sitting at the same table talking about what's best for high school students.
Coach, I have a question back here in the back of the room.
Yes.
Are you going to win the state championship this year?
Thank you, Ed. Ed, you and I have, we've been running into each other a lot lately. This is starting to scare me. I would hope so. I would think that we're doing everything in our power to try to get there. But this, it's a long journey. It's a long journey. Things happen, and you've been around long enough to know, during the playoffs, there's so many different things that can happen. And so we just kind of handle. Our philosophy is pretty simple, as far as football goes. We just take care of what we can take care of, and we're really not concerned about the rest. So that's all we're doing this week. We come out and practice, and we're just trying to get better each and every day. So to answer your question, I don't know. I would certainly like to get back there and that's a setup. I think we have a very, very good football team this year, and if everybody stays healthy, the good Lord's willing, we might have a shot. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate that. Anybody else? All right, thanks so much. Again, Kenny, appreciate the opportunity.
That's every cliche you can possibly pull out.